John Mander. Sean Geoffrey Grylls Mander, 28 May 1932 to September 1978, was a British political commentator, writer, translator and poet. Childhood, education and personal life. Mander was the younger son of Sir Geoffrey Mander, a Wolverhampton industrialist and Liberal politician, by his second wife Rosalie Grylls, herself a Liberal political activist in the 1920s and then writer, biographer and art collector. Mander grew up at Whitewick Manor, near Wolverhampton, going on to Eton College and Trinity College, Cambridge, where he established a reputation for his poetry. He first married Gertrude Nick Brasher 1927–2018 of Stuttgart on 17 December 1956, whom he met while in Germany. They were divorced in 1968, when he remarried Penelope Loveday Williams on 19 April 1969. He died in September 1978. Career and writings. From 1954 to 1958, Mander lived in Berlin and Munich, gaining a detailed knowledge of German language and culture in the then West Germany. He returned to live in Islington, London, in 1958, becoming assistant literary editor of the New Statesman from 1960 to 1962, and then from 1963 to 1965 the assistant editor of Encounter, serving on its editorial board for 8 years. Mander published several books on Germany. The first two, The Eagle and the Bear 1959 and A Penguin Special Berlin Hostage for the West 1962, were heavily marked by the Cold War concerns of the day. Our German Cousins, Anglo-German relations in the 19th and 20th centuries 1974 affected more the development of European integration and the respective historical tensions and links between Britain and Germany. Following an Encounter-sponsored trip to Latin America in the late 1960s, he also published Static Society, The Paradox of Latin America, in 1969. Mander was part of the centre-right Anglo-American Cold War consensus that grouped around Encounter and similar magazines. In 1961 he published The Writer and Commitment, looking at changing forms of commitment on the left. These issues were also discussed in another Penguin special, Great Britain or Little England, 1963, in part also prompted by the issue of whether Britain should join Europe in the then form of the European Community. Mander was also active as part of this informal grouping in supporting oppressed writers and intellectuals in the former Soviet bloc and Yugoslavia. With his first wife, Nick Brake, Mander also translated 3 books from German: Klaus Rohlers' The Dignity of Night, Karl Zuckmayer's Carnival Confession, and, most important in terms of its wider impact, Georg Lukács's The Meaning of Contemporary Realism. His poetry was printed in some magazines such as the New Review and in 2 collected volumes in limited editions. Books. John Mander, Berlin, The Eagle and the Bear, London, Barry and Rockcliffe, 1959. Republished Greenwood Pub Group, 1979. John Mander, The Writer and Commitment, London, Secker and Warburg, 1961. John Mander, Great Britain or Little England? Harmondsworth, Middlesex, Penguin Special, 1963. Boston, Mass. Horton Mifflin Company. John Mander, Berlin, Hostage for the West, Harmondsworth, Middlesex, Penguin Special, 1962, US ed. Boston, Mass. Horton Mifflin Company. John Mander, Static Society, The Paradox of Latin America, London, Victor Gollancz, 1969, US ed. The Unrevolutionary Society, The Power of Latin American Conservatism in a Changing World, New York, Knopf, 1969, Harper and Row. John Mander, Our German Cousins, Anglo-German Relations in the 19th and 20th Centuries, London, John Murray, 1974, US ed. Albuquerque, N.M. Transatlantic Arts. Poetry. Dan, R.J., Mander, John, Silver, Harold, and Strickland, G.R. 6 poems. The English Club, Cambridge, 1950. John Mander, Elegiacs, Stella Press, Hatfield, UK, 1972. Limited edition of 100, John Mander, A Cavalry, 1978. Translations. The Dignity of Night. London, Barry and Rockcliffe, Karl Zuckmayer, Carnival Confession. Translated by John and Nick Mander, Methuen and Company, London, 1961. Georg Lukács, The Meaning of Contemporary Realism, translated by John and Nick Mander, London. Merlin Press, 1963, also republished in various editions as Realism in Our Time, Literature in the Class Struggle.